The Steelers' defense is just not anything close to what it needs to be.
No,
we
it's
saw
not.
it week 1. I was calling it the shower curtain instead of the steel curtain when they gave up 32 to the Jets. And then they stiffened up a little bit. They forced all those turnovers against the Patriots in the game New England should have won. But, man, between last week when they got shredded on the ground and then got shredded in the air and, everybody knew Jamar Chase is getting the ball and they
don't
still
have guys
couldn't
that
stop
can
him.
cover
They had no
one-on-one.
answer for him.
Right.
Just to give up 35 points to the Packers, to be up 16-7 at the half.
And controlling the game, like where you're going, this is going just the way the Steelers want this game to go.
And to not turn that into a win.
Right.
Like, I don't have the stats in front of me.
Yeah.
But I would say historically, if you have the Steelers up 9 points, up 2 scores at halftime, they ain't losing that game.
No, but they're not the same old Steelers. Their defense isn't the same right now. You're right. They're not scary on that side of the ball. They got cornerback issues that they can't play man-to-man against elite passing teams. Jalen Ramsey's a really good secondary player, but as we saw in the Thursday night game against the Cincinnati Bengals, you don't want him one-on-one against elite receivers like Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. That's not who he is anymore. Darius Slay is on the downslope of his career. He's nothing like, it's not going to be an island type of guy over there, right? The safeties are good, but nothing special. So they got secondary issues that are not extremely talented. I think they also have scheme issues on top of that where they bust coverages and make mistakes there. And then their defensive tackles have not been very good at stopping the run. We know they got the 2 guys on the edge who can rush the passer, but that's about the only thing right now that I think is scary about the Steelers' defense. So then what's that doing, Mike? It's putting all the pressure on the Steelers' offense, and the Steelers' offense has been okay. I mean, Aaron Rodgers and what he was supposed to bring to the Steelers, he's done his part. Like we talked about last week, it's Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin and the defense that's not holding up their bargain right now. I mean, this offense has been better than what we've seen from the Steelers the last few years. The problem is the defense is significantly less. They're not making as many plays. They're definitely not as stout as we've seen in years past. And the Packers just, come out in the second half, get a 3-and-out from Aaron Rodgers and company, make a big play, bam, go down and score a touchdown. And Pittsburgh was unable to keep up. And they're not built to keep up like that in a shootout. That's not what they are. They want the game to kind of be close, and Aaron Rodgers will be efficient and dink and dunk and dink and dunk, and we'll run and we'll run. And then when you get a little aggressive, maybe we'll throw a double move down the sideline or take a shot one-on-one with DK Metcalf. But the way the game played out in the second half, they could never get into those moments, and they kind of had to play catch-up after Green Bay had the ball the second time in the second half.
Give Aaron Rodgers a mulligan.
Yeah. For like what?
For his decision to sign with the Steelers. Would he do something differently if he knew then what he knows now?
I don't think he had many options. So that's the problem, right? We know.
Give the Vikings a mulligan.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, we
in hindsight,
right. I mean, I think we all know that Minnesota thought about Aaron Rodgers, and we know that Aaron Rodgers thought about Minnesota, and I'm sure that looked appealing in a lot of ways. They got their own issues. But no, he was limited here, and the Pittsburgh at the end of the day, I think, was the only team that really gave him any chance to go. Wait, we could go to the playoffs and do something here. But as we see right now, maybe they're a playoff team, but they're certainly not in a Super Bowl caliber conversation.
It is really a two-pronged question, though. You give Rodgers a mulligan and the rest of the league a mulligan because the rest of the league could see that he's playing the way that he's playing. There would have been more interest in Aaron Rodgers than what we saw, and he would have had other options. It's just how many other borderline contenders are out there that he could have gone to and been the starter, walked through the door. I mean, really, it is the Vikings. It's the Vikings and only the Vikings. That's the team that maybe should have wanted him, and we know that we don't know if he wanted to go there, but we know he talked to them, and it just made sense. He would have gotten to play the Packers twice, and he would have gotten to go to Lambeau Field. It was odd to see him wearing the yellow helmet.
Right, it really was.
Green Bay. And I listen, I'm sorry.
Say it.
Those are the ugliest uniforms I've ever seen in my entire life. And whoever thought those looked good needs to get their eyes checked today.
Yeah, well,
is that fair?
I mean,
those are hideous.
Well,
they wore those in 1994 when they did the throwback for the 75 seasons. And I remember saying then, these are the worst uniforms I have ever seen, and they should put them all in a pile and burn them and never wear them again. And here we are 31 years later.
Well, listen, I understand paying homage to history and all that. I always love that. But what I think of just a little like with the NFL sometimes, I want to go save that uniform for some other game. When Pittsburgh plays somebody else at 1 p.m. on a Sunday if you want to do that.
Save that uniform for when they play in the complete dark with no lights.
I mean, I hear you. But we had a classic game last night. We had a classic game. I wanted to see Aaron Rodgers in the normal Pittsburgh uniform playing against his old team in the normal Packer uniform. Two, historical uniforms that are the best in the game. I mean, they're amazing. I mean, that G with the yellow, the Steelers with the 3 stars. Why mess that up? Sometimes that's where I just go, NFL, you don't need to do much here with this one. These are classics. Everybody just wants to see these uniforms on the field. Let's not make it too sexy or go out of our way to sell tickets.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem.
Right.
And it's all about the green that was nowhere to be seen last night. That's right. No, but it's not just that. It's about selling it.
Right.
Because when do they break out the fancy uniforms? When have we seen the Packers winter warning uniforms this year? Twice when they play in primetime.
Yeah.
They didn't wear them in Dallas, but they wore them against Washington week 2,
right. Thursday
and they
night.
wore them last night. So you put the fancy uniforms on in primetime, and what's going to happen during the game? At some point in those 3 hours, you're going to say, "Hey, boy, I'm going to order me one."
Or
of
little
those
Johnny's
jerseys.
like, "Mommy,
Mommy.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Or I mean, now if the goal is to actually get people to buy them, then maybe you should find something that looks better than what the Steelers wore last night. But it's all about revenue.
I like the
streams.
Packers unis.
I hate to
just
be
didn't
that
want to
way,
see them
but
last
they've
night.
made the game that way.
Right. Yeah.
The moment that they planted the flag in the ground to get to $25 billion in revenue per year by the year 2027, everything became a revenue stream, and it became blatantly and obviously about money and nothing else.
No,
Above all else.
I hear you there, and I'm not against it. I do like some of these new uniforms. I like that Packer uniform last night. I just don't want to see that in a traditional Aaron Rodgers playing his old team on Sunday night.
I want to see Aaron Rodgers going against his old team, and it didn't feel like he was going against his old team.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I am, but all in all, the Packers are a really damn good football team. I think that's the big thing. And you talked about the defense and what they do there. But then even in the second half, right? I mean, we got into moments with the Steelers of stupid penalties taken. Of course, Rodgers got pressure, got sacked a few times, and that's where the defense put the Pittsburgh offense in a bad spot to have to play catch up and have to try to play. Oh wait, we got to match Jordan Love and their explosive attack here. No, that's not what they wanted to do. They wanted to play it like they did in the first half. Defense is good. We're getting stops. Offense, we're going to control the ball, run the ball a little bit. Rodgers is going to get us in the right play, and we're going to kind of just chip our way down the football field. But in the second half, other than that one drive to get the field goal, they really couldn't get anything going, and they did a lot of dumb things and really got physically dominated up front, too, and it just wasn't a good look for the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday Night Football.
I think back to how that first half ended, and it just confirms the point that I made earlier, because we were on our way out to the field at halftime because they had all of us go out there, and then we went our separate ways to do our things after halftime. We were in the corner of the end zone when Rodgers hit DK Metcalf for the touchdown and made it 16-7. And I at that point, it's like, Steelers win this game. Steelers win this game.
Yeah.
It really is stunning what the Packers did in the second half, and credit to them for just wearing the Steelers down, wearing the Steelers out. And there's just something that is missing, and it's tangible, but it's intangible. And it's definitely there, but it's not visible.
Right.
It's just a feeling, it's a vibe, it's a collective level of effectiveness that is just not there.
Yeah.
And you would think that it's there because a lot of the names and faces are familiar, but they just aren't getting it done the way that maybe they used to, and collectively they're not producing as much for the Steelers as they should. And this team was 4-1 less than 2 weeks ago. They were 4-1 going into that Thursday night game in Cincinnati, and now they're 4-3. And the vibe is entirely different. Now the Ravens have won, and the Bengals, they blew their chance to really pull back into it yesterday.
Right.
If they'd had only known that the Steelers were going to lose, then maybe they don't blow that lead. They had a 2-score lead against the Jets, and we'll be talking about that later. We'll be talking about all the games. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.